some young broke dude.
Entitled father alarms zoo animals for his demanding kids' amusement. Some truths and fibs ensue. This was a very long time ago, in fact around the time of MC Hammer in his pants. Not that that's relevant to the story. I'm the first to admit that I could have been far more mature about this. I was perhaps 19 at the time and taking a university class in behavioral primatology. Part of the class was practicing field notes by doing observational research at the local zoo. I was there early on a cold wintry day with my coffee, notebook, and Discman to keep me company. I liked being there when the fewest human primates were around for a variety of reasons, but most people came and went from the area I was in without bothering either me or observation subjects, Atelis, Geoffroy, or spider monkeys. This particular morning, though, in comes Entitled Father with his 4 to 5-year-old male spawn. The monkeys were languishing after the morning feeding, all mellow and doing a bit of grooming. Entitled Kid starts yelling at Entitled Father, though, that the monkeys aren't funny enough and that he should make them funny. Entitled Father starts banging on the glass and yelling,
"Break up, you stupid monkeys!"
Now they are not likely to hear his bleating, but the noise of his banging on the glass they certainly do, and they don't like it one bit. In fact, numerous signs warn against doing just that. I tell Entitled Father that what he is doing is alarming them and that this is their home, especially so in the coldest of winter when they can't get to their outside enclosure.
"Well, I paid to be here and my son wants to see funny monkeys, so I don't care so long as they do what I want them to. Also, who are you to tell me not to do anything?"
At this point, he doubles down and starts slamming both palms down on the glass. The monkeys don't like this at all, and some of them retreat into the small rear portion of the enclosure out of sight. He's contributing to yell,
"Do something, monkeys!"
Entitled Kid is clearly amused by this and is clapping his hands and cheering his father on. I decide to do something, so I come up behind Entitled Kid and bellow, "Ah!" as best I could manage. Entitled Kid goes from clapping to holding his ears and screaming. Stomped his feet too, if I recall correctly. Entitled Father stops pounding the glass and starts yelling at me.
"What the hell is wrong with you?"
I told him that I was just curious to see what his monkey would do. That didn't go over well. Entitled Father threatens to mop the floor with me, in a classic case of what the Germans beautifully called Treppenwitz. I wish I had said that he looked like he spent a lot of time mopping floors, however I did not. I did, however, loom over him a bit. I was half his age, a good 6 inches taller and a great deal fitter. I just suggested that he should just leave the exhibit. Undeterred, he suggested in return that I make him. I shrugged and addressed Entitled Kid by name. Entitled Father had used it earlier. "Hey buddy, did you know that Santa Claus isn't real? It's just your parents lying to you. Also, Jesus isn't real either. He's like Santa for adults who don't think very hard." Entitled Father was now directing plenty of things at me, probably not meant to put into Entitled Kid's ears. So I persisted. "Santa isn't real, but do you know who is real? The boogeyman. The boogeyman killed your older brother, but your parents never told you about him, so you wouldn't be scared to sleep." At this point, Entitled Kid is crying, and Entitled Father realizes that he wasn't going to win, so he hustles his kid from the enclosure, scowling at me. My research was blown for the day, so I packed up for the day. Funny, I never saw them back or ever had a complaint from zoo staff. Too long, don't read. Entitled Father intentionally disturbs zoo animals for his child's amusement, doubles down when asked not to, so his spawn is told some uncomfortable truths and the odd lie. Entitled Mother decides lines don't apply to her. Another story regarding an entitled mother not caring about a line? Original, I know, but this got me heated. Yesterday was my little sister's junior high orientation. She's going into 7th grade. Not only was she going to a new school, but this was a school where her elementary friends are not going to since we had moved. My sister is already nervous about everything, so when we found an error in her schedule, she went on full panic. We managed to find a gentleman in the hallway, the principal or assistant principal, I have no clue, who led us to the counseling office to get it situated. He informed the receptionist that we were there and would be next after another family. Now these take time as both student and parents most likely have questions. Makes sense, no complaints there. Now, the entitled mother and her daughter walked in probably 10 minutes after us and the receptionist told them they were after our family. They sit down and it was obvious that the mother was irritated. When the counselor walked out of the room to call us, the entitled mother just gets up and follows the counselor. My stepdad just put his hands up and goes,
"Really, lady?"
We told the receptionist about the entitled mother as another mother and daughter duo came in and sat respectively while waiting their turn. She said she will let the counselor know we were next so no one else tried to follow her. I told my stepdad that I was debating whether or not to say something snarky when the entitled mother came out and he replied that he was tossing the idea too. So the entitled mother left in a rush and we got my sister's schedule situated. As we left the office, my stepdad comments,
"If there is a God, I will run into that entitled bitch in the hallway."
As soon as he said that, she appeared around the corner. My stepdad literally stalks past her while saying very loudly,
"I hope Santa brings you some manners for Christmas, you entitled bitch."
Not really a good one, but like I said, I was pretty heated about the situation. Entitled parent calls me a pedo after I don't leave public gym. Today, I, an 18-year-old male, went to a local outdoor gym. It's a fairly basic setup, a few bars to hang off of, some planks to jump onto, and parallel bars. I like to do a workout after university most days. Today was no different. I got into my workout gear and ran from where I'm staying at the moment to the outdoor gym. I was the only one there when I got there, just like normal. Occasionally there will be one other person. After about a half an hour, a mother with a few kids came. The kids would be between 3 and 5. They started playing on some of the bars and stuff as kids do. I was fine with that, I just didn't use those bars in my circuit. While working out, the mother kept looking at me. She would have been in mid-20s to 30s. After about 10 minutes, she came over to me and said,
"Isn't it a bit weird that using a playground like this?"
I was confused but responded,
This is an outdoor gym.
"Well, you should go to a real gym so I don't have to worry about my kids."
This is here for the community. I don't have an issue with kids being here, but I find it kind of rude how you're asking me to leave.
"Well, if everyone is allowed here, how about you stop scaring my kids with your presence? A big guy in the playground is scary."
What do you mean by that?
"Well, the way you're here, you probably touch kids."
I really don't appreciate you throwing around bullshit like that.
"Wow, now you're swearing. Absolutely disgusting. My kids don't need to hear this."
She then left with all her kids. Too long don't read. Mother gets mad at me for being in an outdoor gym and says I'm there to touch kids. Entitled parent demands university build her daughter a lofted bed. This just happened at work a few minutes ago. I work for the housing department for a large US university, and this week is arrival for our student residents. I answered the phone and began speaking with a mother who wanted her daughter's bed lofted in her room. Okay, lofted beds are a pretty rare request, but we permit them. The catch is that students are responsible for providing the materials and assembling the frame themselves, so you can see where this is going.
"Is there someone who can assist me with building the loft?"
Unfortunately, we don't provide that service. Students are responsible for lofting their own beds.
"Well, how am I supposed to do that?"
Instructions for constructing the loft can be found on our housing website.
At this point, she started to get angry.
"I have a lot going on right now. Can't you give me the name of a contractor who can do it for us?"
Now apparently it's my job to look up contractors who can build this loft, and in any case, residence halls are secured facilities that randos from the street can't just walk into and start building shit.
I'm sorry, but I'm not aware of any contractors who can provide that service. In addition, our dormitories are secured facilities that would require your student to escort visitors at all times.
"Well, aren't there any student clubs who can do it?"
No.
School hasn't even started, lady, and who'd want to come put together a loft for your kid anyway?
"This is ridiculous. You're being very unhelpful and making my life extremely difficult."
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that.
I then hung up and heard a radio call a few minutes later that entitled mother was asking staff in the building the same question, trying to get a different answer. Too long don't read. Karen demands the university assemble a bed loft for her, then tries to get us to provide her with contracting services. Entitled mother and daughter tries to steal family dog. Daughter almost got bitten in the face. This story happened a couple months ago. My parents were out of town and I was house sitting for them. It was a lovely Saturday morning and the weather was perfect, so I decided to take the dog for a walk. The dog, let's name her Luna, was a rescued miniature poodle found by my uncle after the previous owner left her outside for long periods of time, even in harsh weather, with hopes that she would run off, but she never left. Soon, Luna was later passed on to my mom. I also should mention that it's clear that when we got Luna that she had abandonment issues. Despite this, Luna really bonded to my family, especially me, my sister, and my mom. I also should mention that Luna is very smart, well-mannered, protective, and especially loyal. Me and my mom could let her off her leash and walk around the park, and Luna would always stay within 4 feet of us at all times and never would let us out of her sight. Luna is one of the best dogs our family has had the pleasure of owning. So on to the story. The cast is me, the entitled mother, and the park officer. As I mentioned before, I was in a local park walking Luna. It was a beautiful morning outside and the park wasn't very crowded yet. About 3/4 of the way through our walk, I noticed a park officer make his way towards us. He stopped right in front of us and got off his bike.
"Excuse me, sir, is that your dog?"
Well, yes it is, sir. Is everything okay?
"Well, I got a report of a black guy walking a stolen poodle in the park, so I was just doing some investigation."
Well, I can assure you this dog is definitely not stolen. Watch this.
I hand the officer the leash and slowly start to walk away. Luna started to whimper loudly as I get farther away and starts to pull the leash towards me. Soon, the officer lets go of the leash and Luna makes a beeline for me. The officer acknowledges that this is in fact my dog and he gets back on his bike and tells me to have a good day. As we get to the parking lot to get in my car and go home, I noticed in the corner of my eye a minivan not too far away from my car opened its doors and out comes entitled mother and her 12-year-old daughter. Both are stomping towards me. I stop and turn to face both of them.
"That's not your dog and you know it!"
Ma'am, this is my family's dog. She's been in our family for years.
"Bullcrap! Why else would a black man be seen walking around a poodle?"
Because it's my dog, you crazy lady.
During this exchange, the daughter of entitled mother kneels down in front of Luna. Being as well-mannered as she is, Luna lets the daughter pet her. Holding her hand out,
Give us the poodle so we can find the real owners, or I'll report you to the police.
Leave me alone, you crazy lady.
Last chance, give us the poodle.
At this point, I've had enough and decide to walk away. As I'm turning my back, the daughter unhooks Luna's leash from her harness, picks up the dog, and starts to jog towards the minivan. This causes Luna to whimper loudly. I proceed to go after her, but Entitled Mother blocks my way. I brush Entitled Mother aside, which caused her to pull on my shirt in an attempt to stop me. As the daughter is getting closer to the minivan, I see the usually sweet Luna turn into an absolute demon. She starts to thrash about in the daughter's arms, and then proceeds to try and bite the girl's face, barely missing by an inch. All this caused the daughter to scream and drop Luna, who proceeds to make a beeline for me. Entitled Mother lets go of me and ran to her daughter to see if she's okay. At this point, I decide to waste no time and open my car door and tell Luna, "Up!" when she jumps in and sits in the passenger seat. I hop in the driver's seat, immediately start the car and drive away. In the rear view mirror, I see Entitled Mother trying to chase after my car on foot, but she's way too slow to keep up. On the way home, I pet Luna on the head and tell her,
Good girl.
I told my mom about the incident, and she thanked me for keeping her fur baby safe. Edit. For people asking me to pay the pet tax, here's a pic of Luna looking at a sunset. Entitled Mother runs me and my sister out of our house. Hey, so this is my first time posting, and this will be sorta long. Sorry. So about a year ago, my dad's girlfriend, Entitled Mother, moved into my house. At first I thought she was kind and fun to be around, but after a while she started to turn sour. She would always call me disrespectful or rude. Now it's important to know that I am autistic and I think differently than everyone else. I do not realize if I do anything rude because I don't see it as rude. She would constantly tell me how I would disrespect everyone in the house. At this point, my sister also called me that before she found out what she's really like. So as you can imagine, I felt very trapped and like I was being bullied into a corner. If you're wondering, no, my father didn't help, he just went with what Entitled Mother said. Entitled Mother was taking over my whole life. One day, 2 of her kids moved in and started calling my father Dad, and my father cared more for the 2 of them than he did for his daughters. He didn't have a lot of money, and yet Entitled Mother convinces him to buy all of them brand new phones. So far, I barely get to see my father alone without her somewhere close by, and my sister hasn't seen him in over a week. I have a lot of specific stories if you guys would like to read more. Thank you for reading how it wasn't too boring. Karen calls me out for not wearing sunglasses. Alright, so a bit of backstory. About a year ago, my friend and I were huge rollerbladers. We were by no means good, but we really just enjoyed blading around and goofing off. He was way better than me, so I'd practice by myself, just going up and down the sidewalk, which meant going right past Karen's home. Literally minding my own business, listening to music and rollerblading. I go past Karen's house and notice she is sitting in a lawn chair in her driveway for some reason. I foolishly came back the same way and see her standing there waiting for me.
Sweetie, why don't you have sunglasses on?
I'm already super awkward and trying to avoid the conversation.
Because it's cloudy?
I started to leave, but she literally grabbed me by the shoulder.
What the fuck?
Don't speak like that. If you were my children, you'd be in trouble. Let me fill you in. I didn't wear sunglasses as a child, and now look at me. I'm going blind in one of my eyes, and you don't want that, do you, huh?
I don't want to wear any, and you are not my parents. Leave me alone, thank you.
Karen shouting at me as I go away.
Well, clearly your parents don't care about you enough, let alone are even good parents to let you out like that.
When I got home, I right away told my parents at dinner, and we had a good laugh to say the least. I have even more stuff on this lady, so I'll definitely be posting more about her, as it's kind of hard to avoid the sad old lady who lives 3 doors down. Edit. The dialogue is sort of confusing, but I swear it's exactly as it went. It's like this lady speaks in tongues and riddles with a bit of Avatar mixed into it. It's funny, I am the manager. I know most people here aren't new, but here. EP, entitled mom, EK, entitles kid, OW, other worker. Please excuse my bad English, I just learned to write it since I come from Germany. My story starts on a fine day like normal. I'm Aunt Manger at a Subway. Every day we usually get at least one annoying person, just part of the job. But on day, May 3rd, my birthday, I was serving a old gentleman. We finished and he left them, comes EP and EK. I don't use my name tag since I hate when people are like, thanks Mario. When she walked in, she is already mad. The kid apparently lost an important game of soccer. We have this new jalapeno bread that we were out. We started with the kid, he got something normal, but the mom was the problem. She ordered the jalapeno bread. I said,
Ma'am, I'm sorry, we are out.
She's like,
Can't you make more?
we don't get shipment till tomorrow. I say, no, sorry, we can't. She starts freaking out, yelling curse words at me, and says,
Fine, I'll get the Italian bread.
we finish up the order. I ring her up and she get mad when I notice her kid trying to hide a bag or chips, and I ring it up. Then she's like,
We are getting this food free, right?
I say,
No, why would you get it free?
she goes on how the jalapeno bread wasn't there and crap like that. Then she says,
I know the manger of this place.
I say,
Go ahead, call him.
she faked a call.
He says give us the food for free or you're fired.
I say,
I wonder how he said that if I am the manager.
I would like to see her face again. It was so red, like a tomato. She didn't say anything. She just passed cash and got the change and left. I was laughing as she left, and as she turned around and gave me the finger. To this day, I still laugh about it.